10 things you didn't know the NBA banned forever. The NBA has always been good at making controversies. So, it's not a big surprise it has banned things, activities, and even people from time to time over its long history. Even though these bans are usually pretty annoying for the players, they have to follow the NBA's rules or risk being punished, whether they like it or not. So guys, today we're going to talk about the top 10 things that the NBA banned forever. But before we do, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss any of our new content. At number 10, we have corporate tattoos. As we all know, NBA players have always had tattoos, and players like Chris Anderson and James Johnson are known for having most of their bodies covered in ink. The league doesn't have a problem with this, but they do have a problem with players getting tattoos of companies. As stated in the NBA's collective bargaining agreement, a player can't show any commercial, promotional, or charitable name mark, logo, or other identification during an NBA game, other than what's on his uniform or what's on his shoes. This includes, but is not limited to, on his body, in his hair, or anywhere else. This makes me wonder if the NBA is really allowed to make players hide their tattoos after all. If they aren't going to treat everybody the same and fairly, maybe they shouldn't have the ban at all. At number 9, we have ninja-styled headbands. Well, this headwear might seem right for a ninja movie, but it doesn't look like it belongs on the NBA court. In September of 2019, trusted insider Adrian Wojnarowski, or Woj, stated that the league banned these headbands because, quote, ninja-style headwear hasn't been through the league approval process. The NBA has raised concerns regarding safety and consistency of size, and how they are tied now. It's not hard to understand the league's point of view. Since players tie their own ninja headbands, it'd be very hard to control how long the end of the headband is, and how tight or loose it is on the player's head. Since it's either case, a player could get hit in the face with the end of a headband, if it hasn't already fallen off. The NBA seems to have taken the easy way out by banning these ninja headbands completely. Of course, that doesn't mean that the players themselves were too happy about the situation. After all, a number of prominent players, including Jimmy Butler, Jared Allen, Drew Holiday, and De'Aaron Fox, regularly sported ninja headbands on game night. And you can bet they took to Twitter to complain about the situation, whether it was Isaiah Thomas lamenting that dang it was for the culture, or Mike Scott asking us to start a petition and send it to Nike because it's definitely over with these impassioned pleas in favor of the headbands that did nothing to change the NBA's mind. Number 8. Unprofessional clothing. David Stern might be the most well-known ban on this list. In 2005, he instituted a league-wide dress code to try to make NBA players look more professional. This code banned things like necklaces and pendants with rings on them, sunglasses, headphones, shorts, and sleeveless shirts, among other things. Instead, the league made players wear business casual clothes to and from games. This meant wearing suits, turtlenecks, dress shoes, and khakis. At this time, this was extremely controversial, as players felt that not being allowed to wear baggy clothing associated with hip-hop culture was an overly racist move. And to an extent, they had a point, as famously put by player Jason Richardson. Even if you dress a certain way, that doesn't mean it's how you are. Hey, a guy could come in baggy jeans and a do-rag and have a PhD, while a person who comes in a suit could be a 3-time felon. However, despite the initial controversy, it seems that players have taken this rule change in stride. Any NBA fan can tell you that players are now almost trying to outdress each other. The NBA is now one of the most popular sports leagues, and whether you want to admit it or not, the main reason for this is the dress code. The NBA rules are just too strict. At number 7, we have designer BandAids. Oh dang, this one sounds like a joke, right? But it's 100% true. In 2009, the NBA said that players could no longer wear designer BandAids to games. After Dwayne Wade hurt his face in a game, he started wearing bandages with designs like Flash D. Wade and stars and stripes on them. This is how this ban got started. Although we see no problem with the BandAids, the league was not amused, and it was not long before Wade and every other NBA player was banned from wearing them. At our number 6 spot, we have certain haircuts. This may sound strange at first, but it comes from the same rule that says you can't get a tattoo of a company logo. NBA players can't have their favorite brand's logos tattooed on their bodies, and they also can't have their favorite brand's logos shaved on their heads. Most players don't have a problem with this, but Iman Jumper did in 2013 when he decided to wear an Adidas logo on the side of his head. Unsurprisingly, he was told to shave it off, and looking back, it seems like it was for the better. After all, the brand stopped making the shopper just a few short years after it came out. Number 5. Certain players. To play in the NBA, you have to be at least a little bit professional, and some players have been banned for life because of things that happen in their personal lives. Whether it was O.J. Mayo and Tyreke Evans being kicked out of the NBA for drug violations, or Ralph Beard and Alex Graza being kicked out for college game fixing. This shows that the NBA players need to be careful to follow the rules if they want to have a long career in the NBA. Shocking, right? At number 4, we have certain shoes. Even though NBA players are known for having some of the flashiest kicks, there have been a few pairs that have been banned. Usually, shoes are only banned if they have third-party advertising on them, like when Frank Kaminsky wore shoes that advertised his podcast, Pros and Joes, or when Karl Anthony Towns wore shoes that paid tribute to the hit show Stranger Things. In 1984, Michael Jordan wasn't allowed to wear the black and red version of his signature sneakers. Also, between 2010 and 2011, the NBA temporarily banned shoes made by the company's athletic propulsion labs because they were thought to give an unfair advantage on the court. But now that both of these old rules have been lifted, it seems that NBA players can wear almost anything, as long as they don't add any extra advertising to their shoes. If I were an NBA player, I might have become irritated at this point. Number 3. Gambling. This shouldn't come as much of a surprise, but the NBA player says that any person who directly or indirectly bets money on something of value on the outcome of any game will face a punishment that may include a fine, suspension, expulsion, and/or permanent disqualification from further association with the association or any of its members. This ban applies to both players and staff, so it's clear that it is a move to stop match fixing. But players are allowed to gamble as long as it has nothing to do with sports. This is why there are so many big bets on card games like poker and blackjack all over the league. Number 2. Smoking weed. Well, this one sounds obvious, right? Although recent research has shown that THC, CBD, and marijuana can help with pain management, the NBA still lists marijuana as a banned substance. This may seem like an old rule, especially since only 3 US states completely ban its use. However, there is hope that this rule will be changed in the near future. In fact, League Commissioner Adam Silver has been quoted as saying, "My personal view is that it should be regulated in the league. This isn't an outright approval, but it's better than nothing. And we think that as weed becomes more widely accepted, the NBA will eventually change with the times." For now though, NBA players will have to wait until the offseason to roll up. Finally, on our last spot, we have the upside-down headbands. While it's hard for a headband to be upside down since it's just a stretchy piece of fabric, the NBA decided to clamp down on this in October 2010, when it noticed that players were wearing headbands with the NBA logo facing down. Rajon Rodriguez and J.R. Smith were the most obvious offenders. As a sign of defiance, the league told them to turn their headbands the right way up. Rodriguez did one of the pettiest things in recent NBA history, when he decided to protest by not wearing one at all. But he eventually stopped doing that. Now he wears them sometimes. So, this leads us to the end of today's video, and I'm very much glad that you stayed with me to the end, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Tell me in the comments which NBA ban you think will be gone soon, and which ones you think will stay for the foreseeable future. See you in the next one.